I see what home chaps and shabbins, game chap and birdie here. Yes, indeed, fellows, and I dare say we have here some rather interesting news for you for Minecraft. Now, it seems to me very much as if Mr. Jeb, yes, that's right, Mr. Jeb, has been talking snapshots among other things, old chap.
Well, most certainly. Now, Mr. Jeb has been talking. Now, when we say talk, we're really talking about words rather than sentences.
Oh, I see. It's like that, is it?
Yes, yes. Which means that obviously he's had the okay, or feels that this is okay to say some things at least to the community.
Right.
Because, as we've reported before, up to now, things seem to be rather quiet. And from what we can see from the other sort of devs and things, very quiet.
Yes.
It's obvious that there is something... Well, Microsoft has basically said to them, look, you know, be careful what you say, and you can only say this and not that.
That's right. There will be certain things in place that mean they can say some things, but they can't say others, perhaps by NDAs or a similar form. Now, of course, it seems indeed that at the present time, the only person to have spoken, at least on Minecraft's future here for now, has been Mr. Jeb in recent times.
Yes, yes, the big chief himself, of course, now.
Yes.
Handed over by Notch. Now, the thing is what did he say? Now, someone asked Mr. Jeb, what about the snapshots? What about the 1.9 snapshots in general, you see?
Right, so this is for Minecraft 1.9, the next update.
1.9, next update, yes, because 1.81 I think at the moment, so 1.9 they're looking at.
Yes.
What about the next snapshots, they said? And indeed, everyone's been asking that. Even we said on the last one, where are these snapshots? Will we ever see any more? Now, Mr. Jeb answered, but he didn't answer with a sentence. It was just one word.
And what was that word?
January.
January.
That
I
was
see.
It. January.
Well, Mr. Jeb may be a man of few words, but he's certainly conveyed his message quite clearly here, fellows. It seems to me as if the Mojang team's current plan is to start introducing those 1.9 snapshots for Minecraft in January of next year. That's very soon.
Well, we think so. Now, what form they'll take, whether it'll be the same as the snapshots we saw before, following the same format, done in the same way, we don't know.
Exactly.
Whether there'll be snapshots to do with perhaps, new mobs and things, perhaps not, we don't know. It could be just be what Microsoft and what Mojang, etc., want to implement in there.
That's right, and I think it's a very good question and a good point you've raised there, old chap. What exactly will they be? Will these be like the 13W48As we've seen in the past, or will it be a totally new form snapshot? Could it be, I don't know, a 15W01A, or will Microsoft be coming along and saying, no, actually, we want you to do things a different way now, and actually it's going to have to be, I don't know, version A5-B or something, goodness only knows. Well, and also, more to the point, I say, are Microsoft going to authorize Mojang to do certain things that will enable these snapshots to be published, of course, because up until now we haven't had any snapshots, and we can only assume that perhaps the Microsoft chaps have okayed these snapshots for the new year.
Well, yes, that's a good point, and one I was just going to say about this, indeed. I mean, yes, will it be the same as before? In other words, the snapshots released, is it, as you said, will it be released in the same way? Will it be the community testing it out, all of them? Just those that can do it, we don't know.
Could it be released to only a select group of people, etc., and so forth? We don't know.
Exactly. Could it? Will it just be released to just a few people? We don't know. It could just take exactly the same format. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, yes.
But from what it looks like, it would seem that Microsoft seemed to have given some form of okay to how they were doing things. Now, I think perhaps Microsoft will be looking over this, how it's done, how they are released, what is released in them. But in essence, it seems that they have actually said, yeah, okay, you can carry on doing the snapshots, perhaps, as they were, we think. So
well,
it's very much, because all we've got is just January. So
exactly. It's very hard to draw conclusions from just one word, but of course we can safely assume that at least for now, it seems there will be something resembling what we had before, and that was the old snapshot system. So of course, I think what we have to ask now is exactly what approach Mojang will be taking, just picking up on what we said a moment ago. For example, I mean, other companies like DICE with Battlefield 4, they have what's known as a CTE. Now the CTE is the Community Test Environment, and you can sign up for that if you like, and test the latest beta features of the game. Now, of course, currently Mojang's approach is to say to everyone, well, here's the snapshots and you can have these if you like. But will we be seeing under Microsoft a change whereby only certain people can have those?
That's a very good point, yes. You see, short term, we may well see it as it was, as it were. But longer term, perhaps they might start to implement something, as you said, like that.
Restrictions.
Yes, possibility. Yes, it could be just a few people will test it. Or they may withdraw it altogether in the future. We don't know. We'll have to see how this thing pans out during the year.
Exactly. They'll have to be very careful how they approach this one, because Microsoft have a very community-driven game on their hands here, which is quite unlike anything else they've dealt with before. They're used to their Halos and their flight simulators and the other games they do, but of course Minecraft has always been driven by the community. So that that link between the devs and the audience is very, very important here, where the devs constantly producing more updates, etc. and so forth. It really is the lifeblood of the game, I think.
Most certainly, yes. We certainly have a situation here where we've got the Mojang staff there, Mr. Jeb and the rest of them, up there on the front line. But
yes.
Very much with Uncle Bill there, with his head over the shoulder type of thing behind them.
And I think simultaneously, Mr. Jeb won't want to upset Uncle Bill, but also Uncle Bill is not going to want to upset the community either. So you've got this balance that works both ways.
Most certainly, yes. They're going to want to get that right, and I think that's why the skeletons, whatever they got, staff of Mojang that are there now working on this are still there.
Yes, exactly. Now, also we have to move on to something else here. Some of the changes that we are already aware of, which may or may not be making appearances in Minecraft 1.9 snapshots. But before we go into these, we have to say a lot of these features were actually discussed before the acquisition, so they're not final.
No, that's a very important point, because no doubt everyone out there has said, well, snapshots mean things. Snapshots mean that you add things, don't they? That's
exactly.
And no doubt people have said, well, what are they? And we're going to do our best to try and help you out a bit with the information that we've got. But as you just said there, it's very important to understand that these planned changes, or what they thought they'd like to do in 1.9, were actually done, announced as it were, not done, announced.
That's right.
Previously.
Yes.
You see, it's previous to all this going on.
Prior to the acquisition, exactly, which took place very quickly, of course.
Well, one of the things they mentioned and had planned was possibly custom models and animations, which is, of course, very interesting.
That's right, of course. This would potentially allow you to bring into Minecraft custom models for entities, that is, your sheep and your pigs and perhaps new mobs, etc. and so forth, and also animate those, in other words, to make them move in your own custom ways. Now, of course, you could do all number of things with that, from, I don't know, bringing in vehicles and other things like that, to also adding in, potentially, characters from any other game. So there is a possibility there for abuse and perhaps copyright issues, etc. and so forth. So they need to be very, very careful about how they're allowing people to mod the game. They don't want to upset people, for goodness sake, old chap.
No, indeed. So, they've got to be careful there.
That's interesting. Now, also, they're considering a switch to using shaders, which means they're not going to be using OpenGL so much anymore, and that may indeed lead to a bit of a boost in terms of the performance and the speed of the game.
Shaders, yes, indeed, yes. So that's sort of behind the scene thing.
There's lots of technical stuff here, that's right.
Lots of technical things. They were talking about doing something with the cloud rendering code.
Yes, that's right, changing the clouds and the way they appear and the code at the back end of those clouds. Now, of course, again, a technical thing, and perhaps many people may be saying, yes, this is well and good, but where's the batty new mobs and biomes and whatnot?
Well, this is indeed the case, and also they're just doing something dynamically with the worlds instead of what they do now.
Now, that's interesting, old boy. Now, of course, this is what they have told us up until now as regards the technical side of things, but they are also floating other ideas out there. For example, they've said that perhaps sheepies could carry on sharing their colour even after you shared them, old chap.
Yes. These are things they'd also talked about. As we said, these are not definite. They're things that were announced before all this happened.
For the most part, yes.
For the most part, yes. Yes, they did. They said about it, which is rather interesting, and that's a mobby sort of thing you could talk about. And also, apparently, possibly another sort of new rabbit skin.
A new rabbit skin, well, a minor thing there, and various new types of trapdoors, etc. and so forth. And also they've said they may be able to allow spectators to have a peek inside the inventory of a given player whilst they're watching them.
Most certainly. One interesting little snippet that was mentioned was the possibility of including the dragon egg, although I don't know what on earth that would involve, if we'd ever see that. But
the dragon egg, really? Yes. Well, the dragon egg, I dare say, of course, it's just there at the moment, you'll see. It's this egg,
Yes.
And I think that the plan with that was perhaps to incorporate it somehow with endermites, those small little blobby little mobs.
Yes.
So I don't know, because right now it's just a bragging it's the ender dragon egg, you'll see. And I think at one stage they were saying about perhaps the possibility of hatching this dragon egg, perhaps to form a red dragon, and that was not his idea, I think, at one stage.
Yes.
So I think that's been shelved for now, unfortunately. But just as we were talking there, you can begin to see there's so many places they could go with Minecraft. There's lots of room to expand.
Well, there most certainly is. There's lots of places, things that they could do, etc. And they've mentioned some ideas that we've just read there.
Yes.
But whether they'll come off, of course, we don't actually know.
So that's just a little bit of a news there for you fellows on 1.9 and what it might possibly contain. Now, just getting back to Mr. Jebel Chap, what else did he say?
Well, most certainly. The 1.9 snapshots is rather interesting. So it looks like we're going to be looking at January for those and those changes, etc. Well, they're exciting for everyone because I think people are looking for exciting things in Minecraft and to take it forward. As we said,
yes, just cutting across to you there, I think it's important to note that 1.9 snapshots will mark the first time that we start to actually see some of Microsoft's ideas implemented into the game.
Most certainly, yeah, that will be interesting, and of course, as it goes, down from 1.9 and then onwards, we should begin to see other things. Because of course, people have been quite a while now without any sort of updates, any sort of new things really going on, and they've been turning to other sort of things, maybe mod packs, things like that.
That's
within
right.
Minecraft.
Exactly. Yes.
To find more fun and variation on what they're doing. Not that the game's not fun anyway. And just talking about mod packs, interestingly, we are actually showing some mod packs now over on our new channel, the Chaps Play. We haven't done this before, but we're doing it on the Chaps Play. Links up there. We're doing Crash Landing and we're doing
Clouds of Darkness.
So if you haven't seen that, please go over there and have a look. We're having great fun over there. Subscribe and it's wonderful.
I dare say those are rather exciting series. We're doing all sorts of challenges within FTP, which, as Bertie says, perhaps a lot of people have been using FTP in the absence of, official updates from the Mojang chaps.
Most certainly. Now, just getting back down to business there, as you said, what other sort of news might there be? Well, someone said, a big question, it is a big one. They said, what about, or will there be, a Minecraft 2?
A Minecraft 2? Well, this is something we've heard several times in the past, old chap.
Now, once again, Mr. Jeb is not using long sentences with answer to Minecraft questions.
No.
But we got 3 words this time.
3 words?
Which is a whole lot better than 1.
That's a 200% increase on before.
It is, it's a big increase. The answer from Mr. Jeb to that question was, not anytime soon.
Oh, well, that was a bit of an anticlimax, old chap.
Not anytime soon.
Yes, well, okay, now just before we jump to conclusions about this phrase, Fiddles, let's also take a look at something that was said by Phil Spencer a couple of months ago, and we actually reported on that at the time. Now, he said, I don't know if Minecraft 2, if that's the thing that makes the most sense.
Right, okay.
And he then went on to make noises about having to listen to the community and their preferences and their desires, etc. and so forth, before ploughing ahead with such a thing. But, however, both Mr. Spencer and also Mr. Jebb's phrases and statements on the matter do not rule out at all the possibility of Minecraft 2. It's not going to be soon, we know that, but at least we do know it's a possibility on the table.
Yes, now that's a very important point, because when we said that, everyone probably thought, oh no, we're not going to be a Minecraft 2. You see, the question was, will there be a Minecraft 2? The answer was, not anytime soon. But that does not mean to say no.
Exactly.
No is no, there won't be one. But
That's
not
right.
anytime soon. Now that suggests, for those of you who are Sherlock Holmes fans, etc.,
yes,
and like to do sort of that sort of thing, detective work, it suggests that it's in the mind of the person answering.
Exactly.
Because it's not anytime soon, you see.
That's right.
We may well have thought about that, but at the moment, no. But hey, we've thought about this. And of course, with Mr. Spencer, Phil Spencer there, saying, well, I don't know if that makes the most sense, if Minecraft 2 makes the most sense. It once again also suggests that could be in the mind, and they have not said no to that.
Exactly, because if it was not going to happen, then Mr. Spencer would have said absolutely not, and Mr. Jebb would have just said no.
Yes, I do. Yes, most
so
certainly.
we do have this possibility floating around, and of course perhaps Mr. Jebb has said not anytime soon, because of course soon it's going to be the 1.9 snapshot updates.
Well,
so for the soon they've got 1.9 updates, and perhaps for the longer term, I don't know, Minecraft 2, who knows?
Well, it could be. And now the hesitation around saying definite no by those parties might be because they don't want to upset the community, or they think, well, if there was a big enough demand for it from the community, then we might look at it.
So
we don't know.
We'll just ask a question here, Fiddles. Would you buy a Minecraft 2?
Well, that's a very good question.
Would you play that? I mean, I would. I'd have a look, old chap.
Well, yeah, we would do, yes, no doubt. I mean, everyone would. But the question that they'll have to ask themselves is, would that be a marketing disaster, or would it be strategically wise to do that from a marketing standpoint?
That's right.
Rather than just updating the game they've got. Could they kill the other game? And if Minecraft 2, as it were, then didn't work, you've got 2 dead fish on the table.
Exactly.
So you've got to be very, very careful.
No one wants to play the new one, and also the old one's old, so they don't play that either. That's the trouble.
You've got to be very careful that you don't snooker yourself when you're doing those sort of moves. And no doubt Microsoft aren't stupid, they'll have it in their mind.
Yes, so it's quite a, shall we say, that on thin ice with the subject of Minecraft Minecraft 2, but certainly the temptation will be there for them to sell an entirely new product to this already committed fan base of millions and millions of loyal Minecraft players. Certainly they will be looking at that option, particularly in the light of their huge investment to buy the game, I'm sure. So, indeed, we'll have to wait and see just exactly where this goes for us. But one thing's for certain, with Microsoft at the helm, we can certainly be expecting some changes quite soon as they look to turn their investment into a profitable venture for them.
Most certainly, and you see there's just another little snippet there with Minecraft 2 idea. It could be, that could be introduced on a new platform, as it were, by Microsoft as a launch.
Oh, you're not saying Xbox One exclusive, are you, old chap?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just putting something forward. Who knows what they might do in the future?
I can hear them. They're picking up the pitchforks out there, old chap. I can hear them.
Well, exactly, but we don't know what they'll do. But I think, as we've said in the long term, we've got to see that Microsoft most likely will do things like that in the long term.
Well,
they'll leave it and let people get into the swing of things, and then introduce things in time.
Bam!
You'll be amazed what time can do.
Time's a strange
very
thing.
Angry people or sort of no people into yeah.
Exactly. Time calms people down. That's right.
Does,
So we'll have to see just where this goes, fellas. But again, we will be reporting to you the latest Minecraft news as it becomes available. So do stay tuned, I say.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for everyone listening, fellas. This has been Game Channel Buddy with the latest Minecraft news in one of our regular updates. We look forward to seeing you once more on the next exciting outing, my word.
Yes,
until then.